Oh, shit.
It feels so good.
Okay.
Reunited and we understood. The podcast didn't get canceled. We just were really tired.
Hilarious. First of
Yes.
all, oh my God, where did he go with that?
Thank you for our lyrical talent, Jeremy Asifo, for that wonderful intro. As you heard it here, we just got tired. Sometimes we just need a rest, just like you. And when the leg kick rests, there's nothing we like better than, I don't know, product placement. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the leg kick coming off of UFC 264, the end of an era. The end of an era. That's right. Carlos Condit lost on the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. But we've got some crazy news to get into. We've got a night of fights to discuss that was wet and wild, rough and rowdy. I don't know. How would you describe it? But first, like the podcast, subscribe, physically and emotionally assault that subscribe button, and tell your friends about us. Tell your friends about us, even if they don't care about MMA. You be that evangelical, door-to-door Jehovah Witness person, going and introducing the leg kick on behalf of us.
I'd like to introduce you to the leg kick.
Hello, sir. Have you heard about the good news?
Yeah.
The leg kick is breaking down mixed martial arts and boxing now. Twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Might I trouble you for a glass of warm water? It's very thirsty work, spreading the word of the leg kick.
So, who are these fine gentlemen in front of me? Are they Chippendales? Are they some kind of male dancer? Are they workers at Hooters? No, this is the cast of the leg kick here, ladies and gentlemen. Starting to my right, the man with the Air Nomad shirt, MMA fighter, someone who's about to single-handedly smash TriStar's next hope for any sort of title. Air Nomad and former correspondent for, artistic jazz 1770 AM radio, the sports correspondent, Michael Asifo. Michael, say something about yourself.
Hi, I am suffering from, I don't know, the weight cut has been pretty tough, but other than that, I'm good.
All right. Suffering from the weight cut he is. Below him, we have a man who just returned from the marijuana capital of Canada. Son, I'm going to have to test that blood for some drugs. Combat sports enthusiast, scholar, and a man who could really use a haircut, but also an aficionado of bubble tea, David Abruzzo. David, say hello to the people.
Hello, people. My eye, just for full disclosure, is starting to do that weird twitching thing that happens when you're tired. So yeah, I think I got about an hour in me, and after that, no more things.
You guys are terrible after 7 o'clock. I've always said it.
Well, I'm not.
After it.
But I'm pumped. I'm pumped. Are you pumped?
David, nobody would have noticed the eye thing until you brought it up just now. Now, to my left, with his current camera setup, he looks like that moment in that show. You remember that show, Touched by an Angel, when the cast reveals themselves as angels?
That's what I was gonna go for. That is so funny.
That's what he looks like. That's what he looks like.
I'm here to save you from your life of alcohol dependence.
I know. And Jeremy's accent.
Jeremy,
I'm here to
look on
save
your
you
way
from
to
the
heaven.
life of alcohol dependence. I'm actually an angel. God sent me here to rescue you, Mike. Former NCAA football player, combat sports enthusiast, our boxing correspondent, and a man whose hairline is so sharp it could cut glass. Jeremy, say something to the people.
Really? My hairline is sharp? No, man.
Well, compared to what we're working with out here, you're the sharpest we got, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm still tired, but I'm pushing through it. because I care about you guys, the fans. And I'm just tired from my work of saving souls, bringing souls to Jesus Christ.
Well, while Jeremy tries to bring souls to Jesus Christ, I'm out here bringing them back to Satan. Anyways,
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa,
thank you to
not
Sankofa
endorsed,
Radio.
because we are
Anyway,
still funded and supported. Well, not funded, but supported by Sankofa Radio, which I'm
Yeah, thank
pretty sure makes this a Christian podcast.
quick thank you to Sankofa Radio for hosting us, and thank you to the Black Daddies Foundation, of which Mike is president, founder, and operator. Anyways, let's get into some news, shall we? Transition.
How are we gonna do any news?
Shut up. Transition. Let's get into the news and views of the week. Okay, what were you gonna say, David?
I was gonna say, how are we gonna do news items that don't touch on the weekend? It's gonna be tough.
No, there's a couple of them.
Okay.
In fact, there's one that's going to be pretty shocking to all of you. So, do you guys know of Travis Fulton? I think Mike will, but
Yeah, he was the guy who did the role against was it Kevin Shamrock? Yeah, it could have been Ken Shamrock. He did the
no, that's not Travis Fulton. That guy did fight Travis Fulton, though. So Travis Fulton is kind of the guy who's heralded in MMA as having the most fights out of anyone. He's a heavyweight.
right.
He has like 400 and something MMA fights on his record.
That's right.
So recently his story took a tragic turn. He just hung himself in jail. And what was he in jail for, you might ask? It was child pornography. Way to start off the leg kick on a positive note, I know, but
man,
he was always heralded as like, he's not particularly, he's not a world beater. Wasn't really, title caliber, UFC caliber, but everyone always respected him as that journeyman who just constantly had fights and it's just a tragic end to the story. It's terrible. I don't know how much CTE played into it. Clearly, 400 fights is going to do something to your brain, but there's no excuse for watching child pornography.
Yeah, that's kind of it's like, I want to be sad, but then you bring up CP and it's like,
yeah, I just feel icky all around. It's just a terrible, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm reading into it a little bit. This is only Wikipedia, though. It says that he attempted to get a minor to under the age of 18 to engage in sexual conduct for the purpose of producing visual depictions of such conduct.
that's
And was also accused of receiving and attempting to receive child pornography via interstate and foreign commerce. So, yeah, sounds like he was on some pretty serious charges. Yeah, I wonder how he did it in a jail, really.
Wonder how he did what in a jail.
Committed suicide in a jail.
Oh, he hung himself.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. In a jail where there's supposed to be actually a lot of people
surveillance,
like a lot of surveillance, a lot of people watching you. They actually strip you of supposedly anything, that you can use to hang yourself. So maybe
I don't want to go into gruesome details, but
yeah,
there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes the situation is sad, of course. It's I think if there's something bigger from this, is that there is a weird underbelly of MMA fighters who aren't necessarily known, who do get kicked to the curb, who engage in criminal activity. Whether it's domestic violence, like we have a lot of domestic violence offenders in MMA. One of them was on this card. Was on the card on Saturday.
And we imported that. He may have committed some domestic abuse, but tied to Ivasa, imported some abuse on him. So
for sure,
let's nice go. Turn around.
You're nice here.
I thought you were talking about the headliner. Oops.
That too.
Let's move on from this one then, because it seems like we've really scuttled any momentum. Next up, new fight announcement. Breaking news. This is a big one, ladies and gentlemen. One for the hardcores. Rafael Fiziev continues his climb up the rankings, and he gets an opponent that I believe is ranked within the top 15 at lightweight. Any ideas?
At lightweight. Ooh. Let me look
Moicano?
at the rankings.
Moicano? Oh wait, no,
No.
they already fought. They already fought.
It's one of those lightweights I tend to forget. Bobby Green versus Fiziev.
Bobby
Added to
Green
Is
UFC
a
265.
top 15?
Yeah, Green was on a bit of a run recently.
Bobby Green in the top 15?
That rhymes. Anyways, good fight. Good fight. More of a traditional Muay Thai stylist. Bobby Green, great defensive boxing with that shoulder roll. And he's been finding his activity lately. He's shown that he can put in work offensively with takedowns. It's a good fight. I'm excited for it, and it's a good test for Fiziev. It's one of those let's find out where your ceiling is kind of matches.
If
I think
Fiziev
Bobby
is
Green's
on-
gonna get murdered.
Yeah, I was gonna say if Fiziev is on point, like Bobby Green's gonna get hurt. Yeah.
You know, I shouldn't say murdered. That's a little strong.
Yeah, we just came off this weekend. Come on, man.
Yeah, we will see. I do think that Bobby Green did great work mixing in his takedowns offensively in his last fight. But Fiziev is just a scary, scary, scary man.
Yeah.
Do you see what he did to Moicano? Jesus.
Unfortunately, I did.
Oh my lord.
I think that might do us for news this week, unless any of you gentlemen have anything you want to bring up.
Boxing news, no? No? You got nothing?
Boxing news.
I
we
was just
save for
about to
after.
jump in, yo. You read my mind.
All right. Transition. Hold on.
Oh.
Transition.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Off
Wait.
of one of the biggest cards out there. How are we going to do boxing news
Because we're gonna do boxing news first.
before?
No, I wasn't gonna do
Oh,
boxing.
we have one more fight announcement. Sorry about that. Andrei Arlovsky versus Carlos Felipe added to the October 16th card.
Cool.
Get that, man. You could have kept that one. No disrespect.
I'm gonna call up Andrei Arlovsky and let him know you said that, David.
Shout out to Andrei Arlovsky.
I love his team.
Yo.
Hilarious. Shouts out to Andrei the Pitbull Arlovsky, a legend.
Yo,
Oh,
love
and
his
we've
team.
also got. Oh, hello. How did this one fly under the radar? Khamzat Chimaev booked August 30th,
Yeah.
or at least in the process of being signed, against Li Jinliang.
Yeah, I
Hey,
heard about that. I heard about that one.
crap.
That one is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been saying, people are ducking Kamaev and blah blah blah, but yeah, now he gets his chance to prove himself against a pretty decent guy. So we'll see.
Big step
Lee
up.
the Leech.
The Leech, awkward fighter, not going to be scared to stand in the pocket with anyone
I think it's
necessarily.
a big, no disrespect, but do you think it's a big step up?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
like Gerald
Um,
Mearshart, no disrespect to the man, but he's 18th. Li Jinliang just knocked out Santiago Ponzinibbio. So
Yeah.
And I know that's your guy, Mike, but
Yeah.
anyway.
No,
my
that
That's it.
That's my
David.
point.
In all honesty, that is a big feat knocking out Ponzinibbio.
No, it is,
and
it is.
he's an awkward
his
guy
last
who can
fight.
give anyone problems. To be honest with
Yeah.
you.
Who did he fight last fight? Wasn't it like Vicente Luque or somebody, right?
No,
Who?
Ponzinibbio.
Who Ponzinibbio fought?
Miguel
No,
Baeza.
Ponzinibbio fought
Baeza,
Miguel
yeah, yeah,
Baeza
Yeah,
And
was-
won.
in that absolute
War, yeah.
barn burner of a fight, potential candidate for fight of the year.
And he won. I told you my boy was crazy.
no.
Santiago Ponzinibbio, come on the show.
So one more fight yes, please. One more fight announcement here. Mackenzie Dern, everyone's favorite
Oh, God.
accent impersonator,
Sorry.
booked against Marina Rodriguez.
Headliner. Get it
I
right.
like this fight.
Headliner.
I like this fight.
I mean, Dern is going to be knocking on the door of a title shot very soon, I
Yep.
think, with a win.
With a headliner? Sorry. Go on.
Yeah, like there needs to be a bit of fresh blood in this division, I think.
I mean, before Esparza though.
I think Esparza's probably earned it, honestly, but I'm personally more excited for Dern just because of the jiu-jitsu stylist that she is. But yeah, I would say that probably Esparza has earned it first. But with an impressive win, you never know. You never know how Uncle Dana's thinking.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. So let's say Dern beats Marina. I'm just playing matchmaker here. What would you do? Would you do Esparza Rose and Joanna versus Dern? Like, how would you get her in there?
Sure. I think so. Does Joanna have a fight right now at the moment?
No.
No. Yeah, you could do that. I again though, I'm of the opinion with someone like Joanna who's lost twice to Rose, who's going to need to do a lot to earn her way back to a title shot. I think maybe it's a tough matchup, and she's someone who you want to see in interesting fights, but not necessarily someone you want to see scuttling potential contenders, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. You can't really put Rose and Joanna straight up right away, right? Even though, like, you'd probably make an argument she's better than Esparza, but at the same time, it.
She's got a long road back to the title. Anytime someone has two losses to the same person, right?
Exactly, but at the same time, Joanna isn't losing to anybody not named Rose or Wei Li. So
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out.
Huh?
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Sorry?
And what I know, I said we'll find out.
Stefano, you think Joanna's on the
Yang Xiaonan? Did you not see her get murdered by Carlos Esparza? And you think
No, I'm thinking of Wei Li Zhang. Sorry, Wei Li Zhang.
I already said that.
Wei Li Zhang.
Yeah,
you think Joanna's on the decline? Because I don't think you would have said that like even a year ago.
No, that's what I'm saying. If she's not like, look, I think she beat you. We were here. We said, I remember when we had this argument about her. Remember we had this argument about Joanna winning against Wei Li Zhang. I'm under the opinion she won that fight. So
I am too. I don't
right. So
yeah.
I'm saying Joanna's not going to lose to anybody named Rose and maybe Wei Li. So who are you going to put her up against? Because she needs to go up against somebody. But at the same time, she can't fight Rose or Wei Li straight up. So you got to put her up against her.
Why can't she fight Wei Li?
Huh?
Why can't she fight Wei Li?
Because Wei Li's on the shelf. She just got knocked out. So
you shouldn't fight Wei Li is what I think would be better to say. But we got one more fight announcement, then we got a big card of fights to break down, and then boxing news. So let's just quickly jump into it. One more fight to talk about. I know we discussed.
We really don't have any boxing news. This weekend was dry. I was just gonna include it in news.
Okay, cool. Really quick then. I know we announced this fight last week, but we actually have a date on it now. So September 25th, Robbie Lawler versus Nick Diaz 2.
Oh, so it's happening? It's happening?
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening.
I actually like
Jeremy's eyebrows shot straight up. I don't think he knew about this fight. Nick Diaz is back. Not Nate, Nick.
Oh, you said Nick Diaz.
Nick Diaz. Yeah, he's back up. He's back after a 5-year suspension, and he's fighting Robbie Lawler for the second time.
I didn't even know Robbie Lawler was still in the UFC.
You know,
that's funny as hell. Yeah, he has been removed out of the rankings due to inactivity, if I'm not mistaken.
Who, Nick or Robbie?
Robbie Lawler. Like that was a thing.
No, he wasn't removed due to inactivity. Remember, he lost.
Just fell out.
He just lost a series of matches. His last fight was against Neil Magny. That was in 2021, I believe, wasn't it? Or 2020 at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I like this fight though. Like it's a good where do you stand fight for Nick. Also, just a little note. The suspension, was the marijuana suspension overturned and he just chose not to fight, or was it in
that's a good question.
Yeah, because I think it matters, because I think it just shows like, hey, Nick's just not gonna. Nick is probably 5 years on the shelf, not the same. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're not gonna see this combination boxer Nick.
I think you will see a combination boxer Nick, because I mean he's gonna bring it. If we know one thing about Nick, he's gonna bring it. And Robbie has been staring in the mirror lately and undone by volume. So we will see.
True. We don't have to talk about it now, but do you guys have opinions on Sha'Carri Richardson?
And the marijuana suspension?
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, here's my thing.
You want to talk about it? We can talk. We can save it for after.
Let's save it.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah. Let's save it. Let's save it
for after the fight.
Real quick, Jermell Charlo's fighting this weekend against Brian Costano. If you know anything about him, he had a draw with Israel Landi Lara, and he beat somebody else who's pretty good. He's 18-0, so yeah, check it out.
All right.
All right.
I feel like a Charlo is always fighting. Like every 4 weeks, like every 3 weeks, there's a Charlo fighting.
Really?
I mean, one of them fought like 2 weeks ago against Montiel.
It's because they're twins. That's why.
Oh, great.
But they
guys.
usually fight like once a year.
Guys, do you hear that? You don't hear that?
Oh, jeez.
Wait. I think I hear it. Hold on. Is this?
It sounds like
joke coming.
No, not a joke. It sounds like a transition.
Well done.
Fight recap.
Well done.
Ding, ding.
Fight recap.
Well, that transition is the lifeblood of this podcast. I feel quenched. Now, what? A night of fights.
Oh, what a night.
In our main event, local Irish hooligan breaks his leg and is undone by Dustin Poirier. Still can't shut his mouth.
Which
This was
hilarious.
What's that?
I found hilarious, by the way.
I
Ugly.
found it obnoxious. I found it and tasteless. Did you see the clip of him talking afterwards where he's threatening to kill Poirier and his wife in their sleep?
See, that's
tasteless.
where it gets.
I
Yeah.
felt like it was literally like the opposite of every single like ethic that martial arts is supposed to promote. It was he lost and he was not magnanimous in losing. He was, if anything, bitter and kept going on the same
What was that? What was that SAT word that you just used?
Magnanimous. And kept going on the same toxic rant that, you know, he got in trouble for the Khabib fight. Like, this was the very thing. And, you know, the funny part, because during the Cerrone fight, we talked about kind of like what's it called? A face flip, a face switch for our wrestling fans, where he's now, instead of being a heel, he's being Mr. Nice Guy and all that kind of stuff. And for him to just, because he lost, do a complete 180 and just wrap it up to 11. It's like
Conor McGregor and I want to say the Diaz brothers. And you know what? There's a lot of players like this actually in history where if they lose in a way they feel legitimate, they will give you their flowers. But if they lose in a weird, not even necessarily in a weird way, but a weird way that they don't feel is legitimate, that's when they get sore losery. Now, there's being a sore loser, and then there's threatening.
This was over and above. Like comments about Poirier's wife, the clip where he was threatening to kill them in their sleep, just saying that he's in his wife's DMs.
I didn't know he said that till I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the funniest thing to me was? He literally, when Joe Rogan gave him the mic, he was like, meet me at so-and-so nightclub afterwards. That's where we're going to be having the after party. Like, buddy, you're not going to no parties, man. You're
so crazy.
You're going to the OR. Quite frankly, from me, and I was saying this before the fight, and I think it rings true even more so after the fight. The Conor McGregor of old, which his trash talk, would it occasionally step out of the line, like when he called Dennis Seaver a Nazi? Yeah, it was occasionally he would cross the line. Absolutely.
But though,
for the most part, it was tasteful. It was witty. And it was him being completely in control of the situation. He had this command of the situation, and he was on this meteoric rise. Now, Conor McGregor, the trash talk is derivative. It's not really creative, and it's the kind of stuff you'd scrape from the bottom of a barrel from an internet forum. It's like your wife isn't me DMs. Like, what are you, 14?
And
what are you, 14? Huh?
I was gonna say, more importantly, it's like a shield. Before it was like, he's literally trying to get a reaction from the other guy. It's part of the mind games. Now it's kind of like this shield or this like persona that you put on. Yeah, that you can hide behind.
He's watching all this clout leave him.
Yeah, for real. And it's like, okay, and notice, and we can get into the the actual fight soon, but
Mhm.
I thought it was weird that, he's almost trying to prove all the doubters wrong, which I get it. When you've made that much money, what are you really doing it for? You're not doing it for some 10 pop belt that, you could buy a million of if you want. You're not doing it for like, your legacy, like you're already the biggest star. So you're doing it because you're trying to, protect, well, I guess your legacy, but because you're trying to prove people wrong. And
I don't
I
know.
think
I think it's to prove to yourself that you're the best martial artist
yeah,
in the world, right?
but I also
I think
feel like,
legacy is absolutely a part of it, right?
yeah,
Like,
I would say legacy is part of it. I take that back, but I would say like the reason I feel like he's trying to prove, not get approval, but appeal to other people is you think about the first literally 10 seconds of the fight. What's he doing? He's throwing spin kicks. What's the first criticism of the last fight?
He
Conor
wasn't throwing
McGregor didn't
enough
throw enough kicks.
kicks.
Yeah, like I mean, so it's almost like he has heard all the doubters. He's heard all and I get it. Some people do that for like motivation. And if he had won, we'd be talking a whole different game right now. So I don't want to be
but he
too
didn't. But
critical,
he didn't. And
but he
the one
did.
round was a 10-8, right? It's not like he was dominating and then slipped on a banana peel. But
I
I
mean,
think,
that was
and to
not
your point, like,
in
I get that
fairness.
he's trying to win fans with this kind of trash talk. And, obviously I can't see all human beings in existence, but from what I've seen, unanimously, everyone was just appalled by this, with the exception of Ronda Rousey, who came out and said, "Wow, way to go, champ! Trying to sell the next fight right after this one." She was the only one who I saw that found this in any way appealing.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna say this in fairness. One, I found that. Look, I'll say it like this: the 10-8 system right now is so hard to judge and put a finger on. I that's a 10-8, like but certain other fights aren't. Okay, but the other and more important one is you don't know how fans are gonna react, right? Like look, here's a point of reference. We made a video about Colby Covington a while back, right? Pretty cut and dry video, explained everything up and down. It's our most disliked video because Colby Covington has a lot of fans that like are very silent. So you
To be
don't know, right? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, to be fair, I think a lot of people read the title of that video and disliked it. And I think their comments on the video kind of, are indicative of that. They
But
didn't
it's
really hear
still
out your well-reasoned argument. They just saw a clickbaity title. And
yeah, but I
look at
think the
Jeremy, he's
point
frozen. He looks like he had too many cups of lean.
oh
It looks
man.
like he's in the middle of a sneeze.
Man, we gotta get
Um,
Jeremy a better laptop. But I guess the point I'm trying to make though is like there's a lot of people who liked it. I thought it was funny until because you wanna know why I thought it was funny? Because Dustin Poirier is trying to get after him and is held back by security while his wife's flipping the bird to Conor McGregor. It didn't phase him one bit. You know what I'm saying? It
On
didn't
that
phase him.
level, I can hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of kudos to him for even giving an interview with a broken leg
Right.
ankle,
He's trying
right?
to put it back in place. The
Literally.
doctor is like, don't touch it, you
Yeah.
know.
No, there is a little bit of like, I don't know, bravado in that, but at the same time, like, buddy, like, come
Yeah,
on, read the
it was
room.
yeah.
Just
ridiculous.
I
lost.
respect his toughness. I don't respect his lack of class in this
Yeah.
instance. I really don't. And
I'm with
that used to be. I think he's becoming unhinged because that's what everyone used to say of Conor McGregor. Oh, he talks all this shit in the lead up to the fight. When it's done, it's done. And he has those moments of respect and reconciliation. And you know, angry as you are at the result of the fight, it's Dustin's going to take the win. That's what's going to happen. Do you guys want to talk about the fight a little bit itself now?
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
sure. Let
Um,
me just say on
yep.
that last point though. Yeah, no, I agree with you guys though. In fairness, like I do want to say, like I was playing devil's advocate a bit, but yeah, it was tasteless, right? You know, I think when it's done, it's done, and he used to be good at that, and now he's not. So here on all that.
Yeah.
In terms of the fight itself, I don't know where Connor's leg could have broken. Can I start there?
Yeah. I
I'll
think
tell you where it broke.
tell us,
It
David.
broke when he stepped back on it and it twisted into the opposite direction. That's when it broke.
Oh, that's true. It's just that's the kind of injury you expect to happen to grandma, when she trips at Thanksgiving dinner, like, Nonna, you okay?
No,
Nonna,
I will say
Nonna,
this.
get back up. No, Nonna, look at her leg. Like, I think that what Mike's trying to say is that, and Dustin said this in the post-fight interview, I'm gonna have to watch the fight back a second time, but perhaps somewhere in there a check happened, causing an initial fracture, right? That initial fracture, as the fight wore on and Conor kept kicking with it, became more severe. And then as he stepped and planted, David's rolling his eyes, but
it's just like that.
That's
no
how things
disrespect to
happen,
Dustin
David.
Poirier. No disrespect to Dustin Poirier, but that just like the timeline doesn't make sense. Like
I
Sure it
didn't
does.
see not one check. I didn't see one check.
even if he checked it, like let's say, because there were a couple shots that were, on the edge of the foot, and at Dustin's knee. So let's say he did check it. Like there was no visible signs that Conor McGregor was like messed up. Like if anything, to say
David,
that
you're talking about someone who gave a post-fight interview when his leg was falling off. And you
Yeah.
think a fracture in his leg is going to cause him to
Yeah.
take a step back?
but
Like
he didn't even
his
hobble.
toughness is clearly evident.
He didn't even hobble. Like he didn't like grimace or anything. He literally like checked, or the check happened and he just put it back down and threw a front teep immediately after. That doesn't sound like somebody who's just fractured their leg to me. And I'm not
No,
saying
but I
like
mean, instances
Dustin's a
of people
liar.
fighting on through these kinds of injuries happens within fighting, right? You had Anthony Pettis winning a fight with a broken arm, right? You had the example of Jacare in the Jiu-Jitsu World Championships getting his arm broken by one of the Gracies, tucking it into his belt and finishing the match and winning.
Even
Like
in those cases, like you can tell it's broken. Like you can tell they're fighting in a hindered capacity. That wasn't the case. What happened in my eyes was Conor got dragged to the floor and beat down for like 3 minutes of that fight. So I'm like to say like he checked the kick in the second minute, then he gets, or sorry, literally like it must have been like the first couple of minutes. Checked it in the first couple of minutes, and then for the next 2 minutes, he's like in ground and they're grappling, and then he stands up. There's 10 seconds of like stand up, and then he feels the effect of the
All you
broken
think
leg.
of-
I'm not that he feels the effects of it necessarily, and I know it's odd, right? So I'm with you. It definitely is odd, but a prior fracture will make you susceptible to that, right? Just I'm not saying that necessarily the first fracture was so terribly bad, but clearly something happened prior that compromised the integrity of his leg to make it so easy to snap when it hit the ground,
I mean,
Yeah.
sure, but like I don't see one check. I did not look. I've watched this fight 3 times because it's one round.
I'm gonna
I
watch it
have not
back.
seen one check. And I've seen very viable. Look, a lot of people are talking about like the kick at the knee. Israel Adesanya kicked at the knee to Paulo Costa. I counted 25 times. And they were all because when you kick behind the knee, that nerve that creates the dead leg for the calf kick is right there, and it's free and it's open, and there's not any kind of muscle blocking it. So I
The one
I
thing I
think-
would say,
I'm gonna have to trust you on this one because I'm gonna have to rewatch this fight myself. I've only seen it the once, but I do think it bears stating that I think the kicks were a good idea early from Conor McGregor.
yeah,
And I think they did cause Dustin Poirier in the early going to freeze a little bit. I expected him to come out with more straight kicks, but the low kick was clearly his weapon of choice.
yeah, I was gonna say that. Did you guys, just before we move on to like some of the actual action in there, did you guys see Conor McGregor's coach coming out later and saying that he had an injury before the fight, like a leg injury before the fight?
That could be plausible as well.
Yeah. So maybe it's like all of the above, where he's had an injury, he gets a kick checked or throws it and it lands weird, and all of a sudden he can't feel his leg when he's trying to take a step back. Because that's what it looked like to me. It literally looks, and we've all done it. Like anybody who's twisted an ankle has done it. I mean, I don't know anybody who's snapped their ankle like that, but we've all like taken the dot, like a weird step with like an injured leg and like, not done it properly and all that kind of stuff. But to see him snap it like that, And there wasn't really a lot of force. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like he was like jumping on it or anything. So it's just one of those freak injuries, I feel like, and maybe it's related to an injury, pre-existing injury, maybe not. But I would say he was blasting those kicks at Dustin in those early like minutes. He was absolutely
He
blasting
was.
them.
And you
And
know what? That opened up some of the boxing combinations as well. Like as you saw, he was able to stun Dustin again with another one of those lead corkscrew uppercuts momentarily. And I thought the early going was going well for Connor, but Dustin able to snap back with a few counter combinations of his own. And the big difference in this fight between the two of them was Dustin's savviness on the ground. Conor
Wait, before
McGregor.
we get there, I just
Yes.
wanted to mention, like, the reason they even initiate, right, is because Dustin gets the better of Conor McGregor on the feet. I feel like that's getting lost in a lot of the analysis. Like, he cracks him with a straight, and Conor clinches, and that's when
That's
Dustin
right.
grabs him
That
to
is
the
true.
cage.
Thank you for reminding us of that, David. I want to look at that sequence again really quickly so you guys go
Because
ahead.
I think what happened is Connor actually goes for his trademark left straight, and Dustin gets his head off the center line and throws his left straight, and Connor gets hit, and Connor goes for a clinch, a tie up. And you know what's interesting about this too is the sequence started, the takedown started because Connor jumps the guillotine, and
Yes. It's not Dustin
And
didn't
we-
even land the takedown. Like, I mean, to be fair, I was listening to DC afterwards, and he was saying like he was doing well. Both DC and Dustin said that he was setting a trap where you go for the guy's legs and then you move your head to the far side, so it looks like you got the guillotine, but that's what you want, right? Because the guy will then drag you down and basically finish the takedown for you,
Fair
or that's the proper form to finish a takedown.
but you're relying on somebody to grab a guillotine and jump it,
Yeah.
right? So it's still Connor has to do X, Y, and Z for you to get to A, B, C, right?
I mean, he could have finished the takedown regardless, I think. Like, that's just, according to DC, I'm no pro. But according to DC, like, that's how you finish that takedown, where you wrap the legs, you put your head on the far side, and then kind of like scoop the legs. But Connor jumped for the guillotine, and people were like, oh, it's a bad idea, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so please guys jump in. But I feel like if
It's
an
hilarious. We
opportunity-
were literally having a conversation, me, Stefano, I think Nealon, and maybe Sadib. Was it? Do you remember what we were talking about? And we were talking
Yeah.
about how guillotines are so high risk, low reward.
Yeah, we were right
MMA.
before this.
Literally,
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, if an opportunity like that presents itself, like they framed it as an error, but would you go for the guillotine? Like,
I'll tell you where the error was. By the way, I just want to say that after just rewatching some of the highlights, you're right. Dustin did a good job of, I guess, he started to time Connor off of some of those kicks as well, kicking and responding. Sorry, we'll get to that in a second. I want to answer the question about the guillotine. I think the guillotine, to me at least at the time, looked incredibly close. And I think the only error in going for the guillotine is that McGregor didn't do it with enough confidence. I watched the Henry Gracie breakdown of that earlier. My girlfriend happened to be watching it, and he brought up a good point that when you're going for that guillotine, you have to swing your hips in deep, right? You have to commit to the guard, to jumping that guard. Because if you don't commit to jumping that guard, your opponents are going to be able to pass your legs. And that's what Poirier did, right? He posted on his head. Normally you'd hop the legs over, but the cage was there. So he walked his feet up the cage, right? Now, my thing is, if you don't have confidence in the guillotine, don't go for it. You have to commit to it 100%. Half committing to a guillotine is going to get you put on your back and pounded, as we saw, right?
Yeah.
Poirier's the elbows from guard were just absolutely vicious. So
vicious.
in a vacuum, is it a bad idea? Not necessarily. I wouldn't do it, right? But I'm no guillotine specialist. From that position, I'd favor like a snap down, One thing I like doing from that position, if I've got the head for the guillotine, is instead of falling to my back, I'll hit like a little foot sweep. I'll kind of guide them to the side and foot sweep them to their knee. And then from there I can attempt a standing guillotine. But Yeah, that's just my take on that.
It's also the cage too was up along Connor's leg, so now you're just having a harder time committing and getting that guillotine. It's way too deep. But a high elbow guillotine wouldn't hurt either when you have it that deep. And so for Connor to do a low elbow was kind of interesting. I personally would think high elbow guillotine would be your personal.
Yeah,
Your
bread and butter.
How much
Absolutely.
jujitsu do you think Conor McGregor is practicing?
He's a brown belt.
He's a brown belt?
He's a brown belt.
Yeah.
I did not
But
know.
Poirier's been a black belt for years, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but then again, we were also, very, I wouldn't say skeptical, but we were questioning Poirier's black belt when he fought Khabib. But that's not the point I want to make. The point I want to make is I feel like as you said, in a vacuum, like that, like it makes sense. And Dustin even said that it was close. Like I feel like, as he said, if he had made some slight adjustment, I don't know if he had stopped Dustin from passing his legs. I think maybe he could have done something, but easier said than done, right?
Yeah, I think the adjustment is done earlier on. Like once you hit the mat, stopping someone from passing your legs is difficult. A guillotine is a submission you really have to hit in transition, I feel. It's not something that from a static position, unless you're at a very, very low level. Once you're flat on your back, it's kind of over. And that's why I think as soon as Poirier passed those legs over McGregor's guard, that's it. That was a wrap.
Another question about, did you guys see, in terms of the grappling exchanges, did you see a brown belt in there? No disrespect. I mean this in the fullest respect. But like it looked like a really big gap. Like
No,
It did.
not-
Poirier,
That's a
like, let's take the Khabib fight and put that to the side because, Khabib makes lifelong grapplers look like bums. He's Poirier is someone whose jiu-jitsu was a huge part of his offensive game. Like you remember when Poirier was going through that streak of just hitting Darce choke after Darce choke on people before he kind of developed a refined boxing game. You remember that?
Yeah. Oh, didn't he? He had a very good ground and pound performance against Joe Duffy, who's a legit good black belt. So
Yeah. So do I think McGregor's a legit brown belt? Yeah, probably. Do I think that there's levels to this game as well of grappling? 100%. And clearly Poirier put that on display.
Well, I will say I don't think there was a gap in terms of the jiu-jitsu, but I do think there was a gap in terms of the MMA grappling because when Poirier, one of the underrated parts of his game is that he is very good at ground and pound from guard. It's weird, but he has it, and he doesn't go to it often. You saw it a little bit against Dan Hooker, like Unpa, but you didn't see it. But he did do it a lot earlier, and it did lead to some very interesting Darce choke finishes.
Yeah.
Early in his career.
Also, McGregor, did you see an urgency to get back up to his feet at that point? Not
Exactly.
necessarily.
Right. I think McGregor was legitimately trying to work for stuff inside the guard. So
Which up against the cage with your head smushed up against the cage is the wrong place to do that. Oh, by the way, did you see the clip of McGregor clearly putting his fingers inside the glove and trying to upkick? Like
Yes.
2 hands inside the glove.
By the way, is the only reason they disengage, really, in terms of the grappling.
Yeah. Poirier's like,
Poirier
come on,
got-
ref, and turns away, and then McGregor stands up.
yeah, Herb Dean had a rough night. A rough night.
Yes, he did. But I feel like, I was surprised, honestly. Like, I was surprised with how not a lot of people use the word how easily Poirier beat down McGregor in his guard. Like, and it wasn't even a full guard, but like kind of like almost either a half guard or like a Khabib style. Like I've got your legs in between my legs and just like smacking
No,
you.
it's full. There was an insane.
There was full of them.
Yeah, there was some.
Yeah, that as well.
Oh my god!
full.
Man.
As far as McGregor's striking goes, I think there were some interesting things that he went back to, like the spinning back kick as a way to stop people from circling.
I like it.
Off the cage. I like that. The front kick was there. He had an interesting setup for his left cross where he'd throw his front kick, and then as his front kick landed, kind of bounce off the floor into range to hit his right hand. That was nice. I think on the feet, it really changed when Poirier began finding counter combinations against McGregor's low kicks and using the shift to come all the way forward. Right. That was vicious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know if we've talked about this in previous episodes, but I personally think there's some validity to it. What do you guys think about these claims that McGregor just doesn't have the will to win anymore?
I don't know. I don't like when people make those kind of statements. After After the fight, you had Max Kellerman um going on the broadcast with Teddy Atlas, and man, it was not Max Kellerman's finest day because he said some just real like, buddy, you covered boxers and you're still questioning
Well,
whether
no, that's how
McGregor.
boxers talk, though, because boxers like to use the, and Jeremy can attest to this. When you watch a boxing broadcast, they use these very esoteric, kind of intangible terms, like he didn't have the will to win. They don't talk about kind of the technical aspects as to why X was better than Y.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, they like to use esoteric terms. So Max Kellerman and Teddy Atlas, to his credit,
did not
is
fall into the trap.
they're trying. Teddy Atlas is trying his best to ingratiate himself in MMA. He's doing a lot of dynamic striking work. He has a lot of MMA fighters on his podcast. He's trying his best, but he's still not there yet. If I remember, I did the live stream. I compared to kind of how Gus Johnson was trying his best when he was on Strikeforce, but he wasn't there, and he figured it out. And just when he figured it out, they got sold to UFC. But neither here nor there. My point is that, yeah, like, unfortunately,
Okay,
sometimes.
fine. Let me
Hold on,
rephrase the question.
I
Let
just
me
want to say
rephrase the
this.
question. No, wait. Let me rephrase the question because maybe you're right. Maybe it's not fair to say he doesn't have the will to win because obviously if you're in the cage, you have a will to win. But
Can I quickly feel?
is he the same? Well, obviously he's not the same fighter he was before.
Can I find a middle ground between these points of view? Because I think it's not always wrong to say someone doesn't have the will to win. I think there are cases where that can be true, but I think it's an accusation that needs to be made sparingly and when there's 100% evidence for it. And clearly something within McGregor.
A phrase that's used in boxing a lot is that he wasn't able to get up for the fight. A lot of times I see McGregor's not really able to get up for fights.
I don't think that was the case here, though.
To make that accusation, I think we'd really have to be in his training camp because I do think he brought the right stylistic adjustments. And I think, it's a fair accusation to make, but, he built this training camp in Southern California, avoided all distractions, away from his family and everything. That seems to me like somebody who's really getting up for the fight, but I don't know. I'm not inside the man's head or his training camp, so I don't think I can really say necessarily.
And if you listen to the conference, if you listen to his press conferences, he was like super motivated, or he sounded super motivated, even more motivated than the last fight, I'd say. As I said, it was almost like he was taking notes on the criticism of the first fight with Poirier, or the second, I guess, with Poirier, and like was trying as hard to do the opposite because it was super aggressive, talking about, I'm gonna kill this guy. So had he won, I feel like nobody could accuse him of not being motivated, but it's only because he lost. That's why.
And he lost by breaking his leg, which is
exactly
weird,
yeah.
So, I mean, it was a dominating first round, but he still lost by breaking his leg. I will say this. I'll bring this up. If there's a boxing term I will say as to what I think an esoteric thing has happened with Conor McGregor, there is this aura of invincibility that is gone, right? It seems as if guys have figured him out. They figured out his timing. They know he is beatable, and they are trying to pick off the carcass that is Conor McGregor's current game. Now, carcass is a bit of a strong word, but I think that there it is. I think there is a level of guys. There are certain guys who see him as a little log in the tooth, but still understand he's a cash draw and know that, hey, just worry about the straight left. And he's not really going to kick much. Well, he did kick a lot in this one, but he's not going to kick much, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, right? I mean, he's still clearly dangerous, but this is Dustin Poirier we're talking about, who's clearly on an upward trajectory, is putting things together against a McGregor who took time off for boxing, has won one fight since Obama was president. This is clearly, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like he's no longer in his prime, so it's kind of weird for us MMA fans to kind of still be depending on Conor McGregor to be the beacon of the sport. It's been, as you said, over 5 years since he's had like a meaningful impact.
Yeah, he
sports.
captures the attention of the casuals, and as much as we resent the casuals, unfortunately, they bring money to our sport. You know. Anything else you guys want to say about this fight?
Well, I do think if Conor McGregor does keep if he keeps some of the early goings of that round in his mind and burns it, I think we could get Conor McGregor that can still compete. I think we can get Conor McGregor that can still be dangerous and still win some fights. Now, do I think it's a Conor McGregor that could challenge for a championship? Probably not, but I do think there was a lot of things I like. The kicking, the spin kick, doing things to service the left hand. Good job. Just have more feel for it, I would say. Like it seemed like he was forcing it a little bit, but
well, it seems like next we're gonna get Poirier versus Charlie Olives, right? And that is a banger of a title fight. Who do you think's next for McGregor? I'm feeling RDA. I think once he heals up from surgery, if he is ready to compete again, I am a little sick of the whole McGregor sideshow at this point. But let's say we can mute all of his trash talk. We don't have to listen to it, and we can just watch him fight. How do you guys feel about that RDA matchup?
I honestly, I'm
I
good
think-
with anyone in around that top 5 to top
Yeah.
7. How about you, David?
Yeah, I think he wins that pretty handedly, honestly.
You think
I just-
McGregor beats RDA handily?
Yeah, I think like stylistically, it's a bad matchup for RDA.
How so? Being that McGregor struggles with southpaws and RDA is going to offensively use his wrestling.
I mean, yeah,
And he's really, really going to the kick frequently in recent years.
yeah.
Those all seem like stylistically bad things for Conor.
I mean,
Well, I mean, stylistically bad for RDA is the fact that RDA's boxing is like not good.
I don't know
And
about
that's
not good. It's not bad.
right. He does 3 things really well. Is pretty defensively irresponsible when he gets into like pocket range. And relies on
What? Wait, what?
relies
What?
on-
Can you quantify that somehow?
Well, I mean, if I could quantify it somehow, I think Felder, who was off the couch and did a favor to UFC, actually got the better of some boxing exchanges. So,
But does that make him defensively irresponsible?
well, look, Felder has never been the most fleet of foot and the most speediest puncher. If Felder is tagging you off of 1 week, off of 1 week notice,
I don't think
I
Felder has slow hands. I think he just has slow movement.
and this is not to diss Felder. I think Felder's a hell of a fighter. Like I think Felder, but what Felder relies on is pressure and a good gas tank, but Conor McGregor's hands and movement, is I think where I'm not saying. Look, I think it's a competitive fight. I don't think it's going to be.
I honestly think if McGregor doesn't start him early, he's going to get put through a
The grind cycle?
long grind cycle. But next up we have, and Mike, I'm not averse to saying you were right in this next fight, but tell me this looked like the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson of old, and tell me what do you think happened from now until the Jeff Neal fight, because he looked phenomenal in the Jeff Neal fight, and to me just looked kind of flat here, aside from flashes of Wonderboy. So what do you think?
Well, I picked Wonderboy to win, so I wasn't right. I was just saying, like, it could Gilbert Burns could win. I think what I think happened was Wonderboy used to be a master of getting himself away from the cage. He just kind of, it seemed like those black lines were like lava to him. And unfortunately, he backed himself up against the cage a little too much, and Dorino was able to shoot. The other thing was, Dorino just did a good job of getting the initial drive, and then second effort on the takedowns and backing Stephen Wonderboy Thompson up against the fence to finish off the takedown. I think that's what it was. Like Dorino would shoot from like the middle. Wonderboy would defend the takedown, but then, by the way, Dorino's Gilbert Burns, but just making sure for all the casuals there. and then Dorino would, chain wrestle his way up against the cage and finish the takedown there. So I just think the cage was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's biggest enemy on that night, and it's unfortunate because he had some good moments. He did pop Gilbert Burns a couple times.
Didn't use a lot of southpaw, interestingly enough. I liked that. Dropped him with that wheel kick and then flurried on him. Gilbert responded, retreated, and then hit that decelerating right hand. That was vintage Wonderboy, but wasn't able to finish off of that.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's sad because you really want Wonderboy to win. You feel for him. This is a guy who I think will unfortunately go down as one of the greatest fighters to never win a title. But yeah, a win's a win, and Gilbert Burns did it in a legitimate way. I know it wasn't exciting, and I know people want to see some flashy kicks and great movement, but Gilbert Burns shut it down and did what he had to do. What I will say though is I'm disappointed. We know Gilbert Burns is a high-level jiu-jitsu player. We know Gilbert Burns is a monster, especially when he's in top position. And we didn't really see him go for it because he was playing it safe. I would have liked to see more, but that's just from a fan perspective,
Yeah, I would have liked to see more stance switching, more movement, less emphasis on necessarily hitting Gilbert, but just staying off the fence. Yeah. Any thoughts, guys? No?
Sorry, guys. My laptop was. I dropped my laptop a bunch today. This was my first time watching Steven. This was my first time watching Wonderboy.
Really?
Yeah. I think I might have seen him in the undercard of maybe a fight last year. When was the last time he fought? I don't know, but this is my first time really.
Last time he fought was Jeff Neal in December of 2019.
Jeff Neal. Oh yeah, so this was definitely my first time watching him. Yeah, I mean, I was really expecting more. How much Michael bigs this guy up. I was really hoping for more. But I enjoyed what I saw, and I could definitely see the higher level karate that he brought to the cage. And yeah, I just think that that Gilbert Burns just had a really good game plan, and it wasn't an exciting fight, unfortunately, but it was just I was really hoping. I'll be honest, I was disappointed. I wish I could say good things about this fight, but I was disappointed that I didn't get to see more of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson as a casual follower of this particular fight.
Yeah, this to me wasn't really vintage vintage Wonderboy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and again, if Gilbert Burns put him through a grind cycle, I don't mind. I mean, I know a lot of people did because they want Wonderboy to win, but I wouldn't mind. I just would have liked to have seen more transitions, more ground and pound, more aggressive behavior on the ground, and he just didn't do it. And
why is that? What was
Wonderboy's a difficult opponent to fight, man. Even in this state where he clearly wasn't at his best, most dangerous, most tricky, he's a difficult opponent to fight. You really have to walk through a smoke screen of just fast hands and a dangerous lead leg kicking. He's difficult to find in there, let alone to hit. It's difficult to hit, let alone to hurt or even find. So yeah.
I think the other thing is that once Gilbert Burns got him down, he was like, I have to hold him down at all costs.
Do you think this division is kind of in a boring state right now?
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so. I think Usman. There's I think this wasn't great for the division because I think Wonderboy could have been an interesting test for Usman if he was in in his prime. I don't know. Maybe there's not a ton of contenders coming up to look forward to. Let's have a look because there's got to be someone.
I mean, I disagree with you, Steph. No, in all honesty,
Yeah.
that's not to say I don't think these guys are talented. Like I think there's a lot of guys who are talented, but you just look at the body of work of Kamaru Usman and you look at the rest of this division, and there's just nothing there that says who's the guy who might challenge the champ.
I suppose so.
We're getting into that Anderson Silva territory where
there's a second Kobe fight. Leon Edwards, I'm not particularly excited for anymore. There's a Chiesa fight, but I see Chiesa having a very hard time with Usman.
Yeah, I mean, if Stephen Wonderboy Thompson came out and put on an exciting performance, it would definitely like added some I don't know, juice into the division.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I wouldn't say boring, but in terms of title contention, I'm struggling to see somebody that will pose a legitimate test to Gilbert Burns at the moment. Mm-hmm. So, moving on then, I guess we can do a lightning round as far as the rest of these. Because I don't think they merit... Oops. Hold on, guys. I don't think it necessarily merits a ton of conversation. But next, in a bizarre Coco main event, Tai Tuivasa knocking out Greg Hardy in the first round, going to the leg kicks early and often, and Greg Hardy.
This was awesome. This
is the kind of fight I would expect you to like, Jeremy.
I mean, what's wrong with it?
That means that this was a sloppy heavyweight banger for the casuals. Yeah. As much as I did enjoy seeing Greg Hardy getting knocked unconscious, believe me, I did.
Listen, I don't care. Listen,
let me ask Stefano a question. I want to ask him a question. Sorry. Stefano, let's say this was all right, let's say Ciryl Gane and Derek Lewis and
it wasn't.
No, but let's say it was those two, and it's the exact same sequences, the exact same punches, and the exact same finish. Would you say the same things?
Mike, that is the stupidest question I've
ever
heard.
It's not the stupidest question because I think
if Ciryl Gane, who does Ciryl Gane represent in this? Who of these men does Ciryl Gane have the pleasure of regressing his skill set and becoming?
No, but my point is that it's not.
If an apple was an orange, would you like it?
No, the point I'm trying to make is it wasn't the sequences that you're upset that you found was sloppy. It's the character of Greg Hardy and the losing streak. No, it was it wasn't the sequence. It was the character.
You don't tell me
Can
what
I jump in now? Can I jump in?
Listen, Mike, if an apple was an orange, Mike's like, I don't like apples. Well, Mike, tell me this. If an apple was an orange, would you like it?
I said at all.
That's essentially what you said. That's essentially what you said.
What you're doing is because I called out the sequence.
You haven't called out anything. You haven't called out anything. It was a sloppy fight. It was Greg Hardy, happening to catch Tai Tuivasa, swarming in with alternating hands, and then getting caught with an overhand.
Let me say something.
And a left hook.
I'm the kind of guy who can watch a street fight or I can watch a title fight. I do appreciate the analytical side of fighting. I really, really do. But I also just like a good fight. And I like am I using this term right? A barn burner where guys just throw haymakers.
Well, a shootout. Yeah, it was a
shootout. And just somebody gets clocked. That's fun too. I'm sorry. So yeah, I shamelessly like a good fight. That was just my response to your original snub.
Did you guys see the dude who put hot sauce in Tai Tuivasa's drink?
Yeah. Oh man, he's gotta stop doing those shoeies. That's disgusting.
I don't think he'll ever stop doing those shoeies. That was hilarious. I saw the guy putting the hot sauce in the beer.
It's like,
and then he chugged a full hot sauce. It makes me
shudder every time.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. I'm hoping those are new shoes. I really am.
Yeah, like sanitized or whatever. Like hopefully, because like that is disgusting. But hey, man, that's Tai Tuivasa's character. He comes out to Spice Girls. He knocks domestic violence abusers out, and he drinks shoeies. So
yeah. And next up, we've got Irina Aldana versus Yana Kunitskaya. Honestly, to me, David, what do you think about this fight?
Man,
Wait, where is David?
he's not here. He's not here.
When did he leave?
Oh, you did get the message? He had a migraine coming on.
Oh, I didn't know. I just heard him stop talking. And I've had a different window open, so I didn't know. Well,
Oh, true.
from me and the audience at the Leg Kick Podcast, David, we hope you feel better from your migraine, because they can be very brutal. But yeah, it just looked like Arina Aldana was too physical for Yana Kunitskaya to really get a hold of. Her striking looked better, and that left hook, man, that's
That's her
two
bread and
separate
butter.
opponents that have been starched with that.
Yeah, like that's her bread and butter. She likes that left hook. Then again, now that I think about it, isn't that like Jeremy? Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that a Mexican boxing staple, like that check left?
Jeremy?
Ooh.
Jeremy, you're on mute. Jeremy,
sorry.
you're on mute.
I'm sorry, my apologies. Check left. What, hook?
Yeah, isn't that like a Mexican boxing staple?
Canelo does it. I don't know if it's like a Mexican boxing staple. I know Canelo has like made it a thing where he throws out that jab, leaves it out there, and then when they come in, he checks that hook. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. I mean,
yeah, no, it's just something that like I
Canelo
noticed.
does belongs to Mexico, so.
It's just something I noticed is that like a lot of the good Mexican fighters nowadays are throwing that check left, going backwards, going forwards, like they're catching people on like a counter, like Arena Donna did now. Valdez did to Burchelt like a while back, and so it's something that a lot of people need to watch out for. Like they're training it, they're doing it well. I feel like it's almost kind of like the you remember how Stefano, I don't know if if maybe I'm talking shit here, but remember how a lot of the Asian players were just throwing the 1-2s really well? Like they had like a great 1-2.
Which Asian fighters you're referring to?
Like specifically China and Korean fighters, Chinese and Korean fighters. Wei Li Zhang had a great 1-2. That new kid, what's his something Wu, out of Korea was throwing a good 1-2.
Sure. Okay.
So yeah, like I think like every kind of country or like every kind of like area has like a style. And so it's really kind of interesting to see Irene Aldana just like make a home for that left hook. That was just kind of my point. Because this is another fight that she's done it in.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Anyways, and then we had Chris Moutinho for 3 rounds walking onto punches, displaying a lack of head movement and feinting.
Coming off
And
the cage.
yeah, and he was just completely out of his element. Sean O'Malley just, stepping backwards, letting Moutinho occupy space, and then hitting him as he attempted to do so. What can you say other than this was a one-sided beating that should have been stopped a round earlier?
Yeah. It's interesting. I didn't mind the stoppage, like the stoppage idea. What I did mind though, now thinking about it, is like, with 30 seconds left, you might as well just let the kid have it or let him like drop,
Oh my God, Mike, you're killing me today, man.
No,
You really are.
I like the idea. Like, I like the fact that, yeah, you should stop a fight when it's super uncompetitive and it's just not going anywhere, and you don't want to risk brain damage for the fighters. But my thing is, with 30 seconds left and the kid is still trying to fight, give somebody the honor of trying to finish, right? Like, I can understand that. Especially
It's fist fighting, man. There's no honor in it. He's just going to be. He was, showing literally no path to victory and being
100%.
bludgeoned. Huh?
No, that's fair. Like, that's fair. I was just thinking about him. Like, if that were me in that position with 30 seconds left, I mean, it's like, I don't think Sean O'Malley would have knocked him out, because Sean O'Malley was already showing signs of fatigue a little bit. So
I don't think it matters whether he knocks him out or not. It's just the fact that, we don't need to see any more of this. It's like Matt Serra GSP, we don't need this anymore. It's done.
yeah. I mean, the other thing. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to move on, so you go ahead.
Okay. So the other thing was Sean O'Malley really can't take a leg kick to save his life, eh?
No glass ankles.
Yeah, there was a couple times where he took a leg kick and it really bothered him. So if you're not able to take a leg kick from Chris Moutinho, what makes you think you're going to take a leg kick from Jose Aldo and Cheeto Vera? And
well, he didn't take a low kick from Cheeto.
Yeah,
that much we know.
Exactly.
Or Petrian.
Yeah, right. Or even and hear this out. Like, what happens if I don't know, Rafael Sanzao or Rob Font, figure him out too. Like, so there. Yeah.
O'Malley's really kind of hovering in this territory where I don't know,
Michael Van Page style, like, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he did lose, which I guess in some cases merits a step down in competition, but anyways, we can talk about any of the remaining fights if you guys want. I just quickly want to mention the bizarre Ryan Hall performance, where he looked like he had ingested opium 30 minutes before going into the cage and decided to attempt the exact same leg lock entry again and again and again, and forgot that he had to protect his face. I was thinking about, as far as the 3 jiu-jitsu wizards who have entered the 145-pound division recently, who do I favor as having the best chance to be a world champion? We've got Gary Tonin, we've got Kron Gracie, and we've got Ryan Hall. At the moment, I think Gary Tonin stands alone at the top of that heap as the most developed of those 3 talents. Ryan Hall, with this loss, kind of stands to be the least, if this is going to be how he continues to fight. Because I thought he had an interesting thing going with that long karate stance, but, you could count the amount of strikes he threw on one hand, and God, this was just not good.
Yeah, no, not his finest performance at all. I think the problem is Ilia Topuria is just a tough matchup for a lot of people. Like, I do think that this was going to be a hard stylistic matchup for him. And if he had any hope, he would have probably wanted to take it to the ground. It's just, unfortunately, he kept trying to use the same thing over and over again. I think 14 times was the number he tried that outside fat man roll. It wasn't even like that classic in an army roll that he does, right? Where he goes to the inside of the leg and swings around. So
you've got to incentivize your opponent to close distance, and there just wasn't that in this fight, like there was in the Maynard fight or the what's his face, Darren Elkins fight. There was just none of that. It was just roll after roll after roll, and then his head was just there to be hit.
Really weird fight.
Really weird. Price and Beheda put on a very interesting contest. Nico Price kind of exposing that Beheda not good off the back foot if you swarm him, and has a limited gas tank.
Yeah. Right. Although I will say the backflip guard pass that never worked finally did.
That was sick. That was sick. Condit versus Griffin had an interesting scrap. Dricus Duplessis with an interesting little knockout of Trevin Giles. Giles looking good up until that point. Loose, hands down.
Say,
yeah.
He hit No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say he hit a beautiful turnover elbow. Jumped into the clinch, and Duplessis was working some kind of a very high guard, and he grabbed both wrists and rolled over an elbow to the right side. Beautiful work, and then came back in with a right hand left hook combination. And then as Duplessis stepped forward, he stepped forward with the jab, and then stepped all the way forward with that right cross and just put Giles out.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, Duplessis, like, this is the second fight now where I've watched him where it's like it seems like he's kind of losing, if anything, like he's getting kind of worked over, and then finds a way to win by knockout. Which
he hits hard. he finds a way to win, but I haven't been impressed with this fight. And he fought that other dude who dresses up as the Joker at weigh-ins. I wasn't overly impressed with that, but he continues to win, so we will see.
Yeah.
And I think that pretty much does us, guys. There's no way in hell we're talking about Jessica Jennifer Maia.
I mean, did we see her face?
She had a lot of blood on her face from a headbutt. Yeah, that was not
and
good.
And also, like, you could see like kind of her skull almost like with that cut. Jesus.
Could you? Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, I don't care.
What was also disgusting was falling for the exact same right hand counter again and again and again and again and again. Anything else that bears mentioning? Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Tyson Fury has COVID, so who knows when he's gonna fight Wilder.
What do you mean Tyson Fury has COVID? I'm here, Vladimir Klitschko, you racist.
Yeah, that sucks.
What?
Oh, in other news, Mike, who loves to hate on Italy, we are the champions. No time for losers, because we are the champions of Europe, which is the most important soccer place in the world.
Stefano, let me get your opinion. What did you think of Italy's performance in there?
Oh, I didn't watch the game. I don't care about soccer. I don't give
love the after festivities.
Yeah, we won.
Oh,
I can pretend. I can bend. I didn't watch a single soccer game in the Euro Cup, but you know what? I can bend. I said it. I said it before. I'll say it again. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon when Italy wins, and I'm not going to watch a single game.
Fair enough.
Was a good game though. It was a good game and it was a good tournament. And shout out to Argentina for winning the Copa.
Yeah. So hey, man, we're more than just an MMA podcast.
Yeah. Shouts out to Rita Ora and shouts out to D Devlin.
Wait, what?
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 Shouts out to Rita Ora. Anyways. Ginger.
Okay.
Is she eating her food or?
Okay. Sorry. One last announcement. In the world of basketball, the Team USA in the world of basketball, I want to say this: Team USA lost to Nigeria.
No, don't distract her while she's eating. Team USA lost to Team Nigeria in basketball.
In the game of basketball, 90-87, and then Team USA lost to Australia in the game of basketball. I don't know the scores, but I know they lost to Australia. So
are you serious?
Yeah, Team USA down bad a little bit. Exhibition matches though. Exhibition matches.
That's disgusting. Are they playing their like third string players?
No, Kevin Durant was on the court. Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard were on the court. So they're playing the man them. It's just
what is going on in sports? Like the Phoenix Suns are about to win the title. Probably some girl from Yugoslavia will win the 100-meter dash.
Yugoslavia?
I don't know.
Yugoslavia? Where's Yugo? First of all, Yugoslavia isn't even a country anymore.
Hey man, I don't know these countries.
Yeah, no,
Yugoslavia? First of all, if you're referring to Yugoslavia, I don't think that's a country anymore, Jeremy.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
A civil war. Come on, man.
I was just trying to be funny, but all I'm saying is some nobody is gonna win the 100-meter dash.
Let's talk about that because Sha'Carri Richardson really got done really dirty.
Yo, it's so dumb. It's so dumb that you can like miss out on winning a gold medal for bunning some weed, but at the same time, it's the rule. And like Stephen A. says, you know what he says.
They all.
What is it? What brain dead take does Stephen A. Smith say?
No, come on, stay off the
damn weed. Yeah, it's stupid that a world champion can lose because of weed. It's dumb. Stop drug testing in general. No more drug tests. Not one drug test.
That's like people dying of because they've taken way too many drugs or don't know how to take them properly. Like
Mike, that is the stupidest thing that I've heard today. And earlier, I heard you try and say that Rafael dos Anjos is a bad boxer.
Huh?
I said that
Sorry?
is the stupidest thing I've heard today, and I did hear you earlier saying that Rafael dos Anjos is a bad boxer.
So the WWE guys their drug testing system was just like a fluke that didn't happen. Like,
so there's two options, right? Free for all, where you're injecting yourself with horse semen, and no drugs. Those are the two options, two systems
that's not
we
what
can
I'm
have,
saying.
right?
But what I'm saying though is drug regulation is very viable. Like, I don't understand. This is what people who are pro drugs in sports do. They try to make people who are against it look stupid every single time, and they dismiss our points. That's not what I said. What I'm saying is drug regulation is very viable. So
you said people, man, decide what substances are allowed and what substances aren't allowed based on the health of the athletes, and that's it.
That's what I'm saying.
Do they enhance performance? Do they help the health of the athletes? Okay, let's allow them.
I'll say this right now. I find it very weird that you'll have certain pills that'll mess up a person's liver be allowed in the Olympics. You'll have a cortisol shot that'll be allowed, but a person takes an Advil, and all of a sudden you can pop for that, right?
You have rowers in the Olympics injecting themselves with water and baking soda so that they won't feel the lactic acid buildup in their arms. You're telling me that that's healthy and not a performance enhancing drug?
Exactly. So that's my point. Is like, we're getting into stupidity range, and I agree with you, right? And I think Sha'Carri Richardson really got done a raw deal here, right? But to say, oh, our new solution is don't test drugs in general, I think let's.
That's not what I said.
That you literally said that 5 minutes ago.
Well, I meant.
Was he not saying? Did he not say
I
that?
said don't.
No, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, you did. I thought you were joking, but you did say it.
Okay, well, obviously that's not my position, that I don't want to test for any drugs whatsoever, but I don't think that below a certain threshold, these substances should be disallowed.
Yo, if anything, we should decrease your performance.
Jeremy, you'd think so, but
yeah,
you'd think so.
Well, actually,
but even
you know what? Actually, you know what? I know guys who can put up 41 in a game of basketball. On the ganja. Michael's being interrupted here.
Sorry.
Yes. Doing your program. Where is Jeremy?
He's downstairs in the basement. Sorry, not the basement.
Ooh, the Acifo boys are in trouble. The Acifo boys are in trouble.
My beautiful mother.
Mrs. Acifo is a beautiful woman. Michael, your mom comes in. Michael, why is there still a condom on your chair? I told you to remove it.
Listen, you're gonna stop doing that accent, dog.
No, I'm not. Also, why did you not put Blood Diamond on the TV for your father? I told you he wants to watch Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond? Man, we should play a real African movie for Stefano one day.
Yes.
See how taken aback he is by what is this?
What about can it be the one everybody in Uganda knows Kung Fu?
This is serious. Everybody in Uganda knows Kung Fu.
You know that one?
No.
You don't know that movie?
We can finish in 10 minutes. Guys, we're done in 10 minutes?
Oh, yeah, we're just about wrapping it up now. Well, guys, like the podcast. Subscribe if you haven't already.
Okay.
If you're unsubscribed. And if you like what we do, tell a friend about it so they can like it too.
Wait, sorry. I apologize. Can we so I can cut that part out. Can we restart what we said before then
Oh, we don't want to cut it out, Mike.
Okay, never mind.
We want we want the people, the leg kick, to see you getting an ear beating from the lovely Mrs. Acifo.
Fair enough.
Okay, so anyways, Mike, in this crazy mixed up world where people from Yugoslavia are, smoking weed and having their gold medals removed, and the USA is losing basketball tournaments to,
Nigeria,
Australia, because Australia is putting more sport balls in the peach basket, and Nigeria too. in this crazy mixed up world where, you know, what's her name? You know, Poirier's wife sliding into McGregor's DMs. You got three things. What are they, Mike?
Her name's Jolie, but you got life, family, and this podcast. Man, I am super on edge today.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know why. I think it's the liquor. Although I felt good.
Let me get my shit crossed.
Like what Eminem said.
Okay.
Viva Nova. Nova.
Gran patriarca.
That's great patriarch. Saved by the ark. Saved by the ark.
Yeah. Sapete perché?
You know why?
Perché l'inventore di questo liquore. Che figli siamo, beviamo, beviamo.
We drink to invent this liquor. But all we're gonna do is drink it.